Don't hit that
I'm
stop.
not going to hit the stop. I'm just waiting
until
on
7.
this.
It's going to start at 7, right? Because this thing says 6.
No, that's what time it is.
It's going to start at 7.
Oh, it's a little bit
right? Because this thing says 6.
All right, we did it for the 4th try. I finally figured out how to do a YouTube live event. I'm so sorry for the multiple links, everybody. We're going to just wait a few minutes to make sure that we get the people that are straggling on one of the 3 previous links that we sent out because Stephanie couldn't figure this out. So we're going to figure this out and we're going to have a good time tonight. So I'm going to dump into the chat window the website for GaETC. A lot of what we're going to reference tonight about the conference is also available on that website and also on the app. And there are directions and the name of the app and all of that is on the main website. So if you have questions as we're going forward, please put them in the chat window. Let me introduce my lovely compadre here, Heather Cox.
Hey, everybody.
So we're really excited to be with you. Obviously, we're both from I Teach at Kennesaw State University. We're also big fans of GaETC. Disclaimer, I'm on the conference steering committee. I'm kind of over sponsorships for the first time this year, which has been really exciting. But we've been presenters for quite a while and also attendees. And so we're really excited to have our Vanguard folks joining us, as well as, you know, a lot of the people here in the metro area and Alabama, Tennessee, Florida. We get a lot of pull from those other states too. So we're hoping that tonight will give you a good indication about how to prepare, some tips and tricks that we typically will give people as we kind of prepare them to have a non-sucky conference, because it can be really overwhelming if you're not prepared. And then we'll take some questions that are in the chat window. So we are going to get started now. And we're going to kind of swap off so that one of us can man the back channel and make sure to communicate the right link. And we'll go back and forth like that. So these questions and other kind of tips have been logged by a few folks either on our team or on the Vanguard team in Fulton. So we're excited to share those out. So let's go ahead.
And quick thing for those of you that are Vanguard members and maybe some of our friends are trying to get in at the other link, I've reshared it through email and through Twitter. So feel free to direct them in that way if possible. So one of the biggest things we want to start with is just some of the basics of getting there and, you know, where to park, how you should get there, those kinds of things. So Stephanie, if you could get us started with that. So tell us, where do we park? How should we get down there? What are some of the things that you recommend when it comes to that?
Yep. So first of all, I would say that every year we all say carpool. And this year you really need to carpool. Our registrations are above what they have been in years past. So it's going to be really important to find folks that you can get down there with. If you're not familiar with the area, the GICC is right off of Camp Creek Parkway, sort of right at the airport. So it's really, really convenient to get to. When you get off of that exit, you're just going to kind of see this really big building, and there's several parking lots. There are several entrances, and there will be folks directing you to parking that's available. This year, we will have an overflow lot that will be across the street. It looks like you're going to park and fly. You will not park and fly unless you plan on going somewhere else. So you're going to park up near that area, and then there will be shuttles going back and forth. So you don't have to walk and schlep and all of that. So parking, really important. The GICC has been a great location for us for the conference for a long time. It's just, you know, it's clean, it's open, there's lots of space, so it's really good. So we're excited to be back.
The other great thing is that you do not pay for parking. So you don't have to worry about paying for parking when you get there, but I recommend getting there early. You're not going to want to get there super late in the day. You are going to end up in that overflow lot if you don't get there early. So make sure that you, when you are carpooling, get there so you have time to get in, hit up registration.
That's right. And you really don't want to miss that opening session. That's when our opening keynote takes place, and we recognize all of our awesome vendors that are sponsoring the events and providing a lot of the great things that you all will encounter. So it's an awesome opportunity to be there. The sooner you get there, the better your seat is. So don't be afraid and scoot all the way up to the front.
Another thing that people have asked, and we want to make sure we clarify, is what do we really need to bring to GaETC? Because if you haven't been there before, you're kind of curious about what kinds of things you need to haul along with you. So go ahead and give us some tips.
Well, I think the first thing to know is that when you get to GaETC, you're also going to receive something. So you're going to get a conference bag, and a lot of times I find it kind of cumbersome to bring my own bag plus use that bag. Unless you have a big enough bag that you can roll it up and stuff one in the other. So really important to choose your bag carefully. I'm a fan of the crossbody because I like to keep my hands free. And I really don't love having a purse, right? So I try to like condense whatever, you know, all you gentlemen out there, you don't have this issue, but all of us moms and ladies carry around 55,000 things just in case somebody needs an emergency tracheotomy or a diaper change. So, So we really try to get as much dwindled down as we can. I'm waiting for the day when the fanny pack is back in style because I think that that might be the best way to go.
I think this is the year you should start it. I mean,
you know what? Don't challenge me because guess who's showing up with a fanny pack now? So inside of whatever bag you're going to use, I a lot of times see people with their full laptops at the conference, and that can be pretty cumbersome. Unless you're somebody who has, you know, a MacBook Air or something really light, it can be heavy carrying it all day for multiple days. So I really like having either a tablet or just a really, you know, like a larger phone. And just always bring a charger.
Yes, a portable one would be great.
That's right.
The thing is, you're there with all these other people that all have devices as well. So charge your devices before you go. Otherwise, you're going to be throwing elbows trying to get to an outlet. Plus, there's probably never an outlet that's convenient. So a portable battery is going to be great. But like Stephanie said, be careful with those devices in general. You don't need to bring absolutely every single device that you have. It's totally not necessary. You know, I'm a laptop girl, so I'll have that in my phone, but you know, don't bring everything that in your arsenal. It's just going to end up being too much. It's pulling on the Wi-Fi, all those crazy things.
That's right. I also want to just say, as we're talking about what to do to prepare to bring, definitely bring the phone, because I find that the app program is really, really important. All of the things that will change in the program, as happens in any large conference, we're going to have minor adjustments. And so it's really important to have that phone with you. And I just want to call out too, on the very first day, another reason why you need to get there early is because of that newcomer session. Those of you who are attending for the first time, it's really a great session for you to kind of get a lay of the land, figure out where things are, what they're called, why they're called that thing, if it's a certain strand. That'll all be kind of reviewed with you in that session. So it's a great opportunity for you to learn more about the actual program.
And they do give you a paper program. So those of you who like to go through that like I do, you have that. But like Stephanie said, the app is essential because that's where you're going to find those updates. That's right. So you're not going to want to miss out on having that app. That's right. Let's talk a little bit more about some other things to bring. And anybody who knows me knows that I'm a food girl. So let's talk for a quick second about food. What's the situation at GaETC with food? So there is food. There are food vendors. Unfortunately, just because of the massive amount of people and the lunch hour being what it is, there are usually really long lines. And I just want to put the disclaimer out there that we do have some vendors that accept cash only. So if you are somebody who really wants the Papa John's, then I would bring some cash with you just in case, because there's no worse feeling than for a hangry girl like myself to have waited all through the line, and then you get up there and you think, I cannot wait to chow down on this, and then you have no cash, and they will not take your card, and you want to actually use your card like a ninja star, and then just take all of their food. So really important to plan ahead. I think too, we have learned better over the years to bring snacks and eat a really big breakfast so that it kind of spaces out your day. If you can hold yourself out till a little bit after that lunch rush, there's typically no lines, and it's a lot more calm in that area of the hall. And what's really great though too is that they will provide some snacks in the exhibit hall at certain points in the day in the afternoon. So when you are, you know, your stomach's starting to rumble again and you ran out of all the snacks that you brought in the morning, but really keep that in mind as you are, you know, getting ready. That's right. Okay, so I think it's a good time to talk kind of about the session. So we mentioned the newcomer session already. We know that that's an important one for newbies. If you haven't been there before, it's a great recap. Hopefully they'll, you know, reinforce some of the things we've told you here. But after that, what do we do? I mean, GaETC was swamped with great applications for sessions.
Yes.
And then I'm sure they took 1,000,001 great sessions. And so that's a lot. That is overwhelming. So let's break that down. How can you approach it? How can you get to where you need to be and really learn something from the conference?
You know, I like to think of it as sort of starting with the end in mind, just like we do in the classroom, just like we do with any good professional development or session. You need to set some really specific and targeted goals for what you're hoping to learn. If you go in without a plan, you're really going in for the sole purpose of being overwhelmed. There's so many great people presenting, so much wonderful information. But don't underestimate the power also of just being able to collaborate with those that you may not normally see, whether it's within your district, outside of your district, outside of the state. It's a great opportunity to just talk about what you're doing and learn from other people. So I really like to just kind of start with a line in the sand about if a session doesn't align with whatever my goal is, then I try to take it off the table. If you're going with other people, it's also a really good idea to kind of divide and conquer. I know our team will probably be using a collaborative tool, whether in Google or in Microsoft, a OneNote, something collaboratively that we can share resources so that we can, again, get the benefit of being in multiple places as if we're cloning ourselves.
Yeah, and those of you that are Vanguard team members that might happen to be watching here, your team will be there with you. So it's great to touch base with them before you head out and, you know, develop possibly a collaborative plan and say, hey, you know, I really want to see this. Can you go here and get me some information about that? But the other important reason that you might want to have that app is that sessions can fill up. Every room does not have space for every single person who wants to see it. So it's a great idea to also plan ahead. Have, you know, maybe 2 or 3 sessions in mind for a particular time slot. And you want to be able to then, you know, if one's full, like have somewhere to go right away. You don't want to lose that valuable time.
That's right.
So it's a great idea to have a backup plan in that sense.
I agree. You know, also, if you're somebody who really likes the big names, and the marquee, I really want to make sure that you understand that those sessions often do fill up. So if you are, you know, a Tony Vincinet, you better make sure you're lined up at the door when the session is ready to start.
So does that make the other people Leslie Fisherites?
Yes.
Okay. You're one of those.
Yeah.
If you're one of those groupies,
right,
then you're going to want to make sure you've marked those sessions off.
Fisher Lantern.
I don't know.
I don't know either. But whatever you are, if you are after those folks, you better line it up. I also want to tell you about some amazing things that are changing in regards to the exhibitor hall.
Go for it.
This year, we're really excited that we have something called the Technology Theater. So this is the first time that we've ever had this at GaETC, but it's been something that's kind of catching steam kind of across the conference spectrum. And so what this is an Ignite stage that's actually in the exhibit hall. It's over, if you've been to GaETC before, in the back corner where Meals of Hope are, which we need to remind people
we'll get
about.
Back to that.
And so Google and Apple are sponsoring that Technology Theater, and they're going to have some power users, some folks who are really utilizing their tools in transformational ways in the classroom, get up and talk about the tools, what they're doing in these little micro sessions. And it's a really great opportunity for you if you've got a window of time where you kind of want to check out the exhibit hall, but you also want to get some learning in and don't want to miss a full session. It's a great opportunity to kind of hit 2 birds with 1 stone.
And while we're talking about the exhibit hall, I want to share a couple of tips here.
Please
okay,
do.
So
Number
you
one, stop by our booth.
Yeah, that is true. Number 1, anything KSU, feel free to stop by, chat it up with us. We'd love to talk to you. But the other piece is, if you are a first-time visitor to the exhibit hall, it is going to be like drinking water from a fire hose. You are going to be overwhelmed. And I want you to keep a couple of things in mind. What I like to do when I go in is really understand my role. I am not a decision maker.
Right.
So be careful, because, you know, the folks that are in there, they really are. They're doing their jobs. They're trying to do a hard sell. They're sharing great things that are good for different groups. But remember, not everything's going to be appropriate for your school or your district. And there are some things that you don't have the ability to make those decisions about. So it's great to listen to it. But really, you know, don't try to be overwhelmed by all that's in there.
That's right. And I often think too, you know your role in the sense that if you are an infrastructure person, you're going to want to see those kinds of things. You don't necessarily, as a classroom teacher, need to be with somebody who's selling mobile device management systems. So tailor your exhibit hall work to the things that you do actually every day.
Yeah, I like to wander around with Stephanie because since her badge says director, they tend to just talk to her and I can swoop in and get like the free pen and then I can jet out.
That's fantastic.
Staying in the exhibit hall, let's go back to what we mentioned before, which is Meals of Hope. Okay, I unfortunately don't volunteer nearly as much as I really would like to in my everyday life, but they have a great opportunity for you to, you know, not really actually get your hands dirty, but get yourself busy. Pick up an amazingly stunning hairnet.
I mean, the thing is phenomenal. You should see the way that this looks inside of that mesh. It's something.
It's beautiful.
I mean,
really is.
Tears.
So in addition to obtaining that beautiful hairnet, you are packing up meals that are going to go to people. Is it within the city of Atlanta? I think it is.
Yeah, yeah. So it's really great. It's a lot of fun too to just go in there with a team of people. They make it really energetic and lively, and we sing songs and we, you know, have competitions and races to get these meals packaged up. So please, please take the opportunity that they're providing at GaETC to give back. It's a great way to feel like you've given something while you're getting all this great learning at the same time.
All right, so we're gonna head out of the exhibit hall and back to talking a little bit about the sessions. And I mentioned the way that the exhibit hall can be like drinking from a fire hose. Well, the sessions can feel like that sometimes too, especially if content is new to you. So we talked about having some kind of resource, some joint resource, but don't forget the power of just networking. Talking to people. Maybe the sessions you need to take a break for a second, but don't ignore the folks that are around you because there are some really great people that are there that you can network with.
That's right. I also would say too, you know, there's a lot of opportunities external from the program itself for you to network. One of them is the, you know, the reception that happens on Wednesday night, which is tons and tons of fun. You get to see an iPad band and there's photo booth and there's karaoke and there's food and it's a really great time. And then also, you know, the places that I really am committed to spending more time this year include the student showcase.
Yes.
I every year say I want to spend and dedicate time to learning and talking about the work that these kids are doing with their teachers in their classroom, and I always don't allot enough time for that. So I'm really excited about that student showcase.
Yeah, because the student showcase, what's really great about that particular session is it's really low key, it's low impact, and there are students telling their own story. They're talking about the things that they've already done. This isn't some, you know, pie in the sky idea. These are real kids with real work, and they're showing it off to you. So it's a great way to, you know, give back to them, also take ideas that you can then use on your own.
Yes.
And don't forget, when you're there and you're, you know, talking to the students, you're talking to whomever, you've got that phone or that device in your hand. Don't forget the power of Twitter at a conference like GaETC.
So I'm putting into the chat window right now the official hashtag for GaETC this year, which is GaETC16. Really, really important that you stay tuned into that hashtag because there are a lot of cool things that the social media committee will also be putting out from that hashtag. So Instagram, Twitter, there are going to be little competitions, little challenges, there's going to be giveaways, but it's also a great opportunity to see what's trending. If there's a session that's really impactful for people, you're going to see a lot of that traffic on Twitter and be able to kind of slide yourself in.
Yeah, and so if you weren't able to make it into a session, you may find, you know, quotes and resources and pictures and things that are in there. And speaking of resources, let's go back to that app for a second. That's where you can find a lot of the resources because presenters are able to upload handouts.
That's right.
So whether you went to one and you really want to make sure you have those materials, or you weren't able to make it to one and you wanted to see what was talked about in there, you can get that there.
Yeah, that's a really great tool as well. And so I would encourage you, if you are a first-time presenter, to go ahead and do that the morning of your session or before. It's open now for you all on the presenters portal. But really make sure you do that, and then it eliminates the panic that kind of ensues at the end of a session or during a session if people are asking you, where can I get this stuff after? Where can you share the link? Put the slide back up again. It's a really nice way to just calm everybody down and say, you know what, you can get all of this, you know, afterwards on the app. It's there already.
Yeah, when Stephanie and I present with our dear friend Jessica, who I believe is watching with us tonight, we're really big fans of that, making sure all your resources are in one place. And a lot of presenters do that as well. They make sure that everything is there for you. If there are any questions from those of you that are watching, feel free to make sure you're putting those in the chat box. we're kind of going through to see the rest of our things. We've covered a lot of the questions that we have on our end. But another thing to do is just make sure that you are there to relax, learn, and have fun.
That's right.
It's there's so much that you're going to be able to get. There's so many amazing things that you can learn. It's just a wonderful opportunity to grow on your own time. And you know what? If you're in a session and it's not working for you, vote with your feet. You can walk out and find something new.
Right.
The presenters are really aware of that. They understand that, not everything's the right fit for you. So it's okay if you go somewhere else. And sometimes you might need a mental break.
Yes, sometimes you will. So I reach a point where sometimes I feel like I either need sensory time in the corner in the fetal position, or I need just to step outside of the physical building and catch my breath. And that's with any conference. If you've not been to a large scale conference like this before, you get to a point where you have reached your cognitive load. Mm-hmm. Whether that happens every day or just towards the end of the conference itself, it's okay to understand that you only have the capacity to kind of get so much. What I want my team to focus on this year, and what I'm sure that any leader would want their team to focus on, are actionable things that you can put in place after you leave the conference. So it's great that you're there. They're giving you the time to go. Some of them are paying for you to go. It's a really nice nod for you to follow up and say, hey, I took this from the conference and I'm doing it in my class today. Can you come and check this out? I'm really excited about it. Or to share that resource that you've been curating with your school team and say, I know that it's a lot, but let's just start to unpack this together. Another thing I think is just really amazing, and the opportunity just is so overwhelming sometimes, is to get in front of people that you've not seen in a really long time and pitch to them the work that you're doing. As educators, we don't typically like to talk about ourselves in a positive light and to sort of brag on ourselves and the work that we do. But nothing will prepare you better to get up in front of someone and present in the future, possibly at next year's GaETC, than talking about your work to those who can critique it and give feedback. So really important to use some of those cafe spaces to do that work also.
Yeah, and like Stephanie mentioned, just another little shout out to the Vanguardians that are there. Feel free to rely on your team to help you with new ideas, or give me a call. I'm happy to come out. That's my job. That's my gig. So let me come out and support you. Let me come out and see if we can make some of those ideas that you get at GaETC become a reality when you're back in your classroom. So let's recap. Let's kind of go through just a quick summary of everything, because we want to be able to give you a quick break before you pop over to #FCS Vanguard, because our chat starts at 7:30. It's all about social media frenzy, and we want you to be there for it. So, GaETC no-nos before. I think that's a good one. All right, that's a question from Callie. What's a no-no for you, Steph?
Number one, don't show up with every dongle you own, every piece of technology that you have, like you are the tech pack rat, pack mule, crazy loon. We're all there because we like technology. What differentiates us are the people who just like tech, or the ones who actually employ it in the classroom. So don't come out with your tech guns blazing at GaETC. Come with some really transformational stuff to share.
Yeah, and a no-no for me, and I've done this at other conferences, is coming unprepared.
Yeah, absolutely.
You absolutely cannot come unprepared. You really should have a plan of action, like Stephanie mentioned. To me, that's a big no-no. Don't get lost in that exhibition hall where you spend so much time in there that you miss the sessions.
Oh, here's a great one. Do not drive by yourself.
Yes.
I can't
That's a big no-no.
Yeah, I can't overstate the amazing, relaxed atmosphere of carpooling, knowing that you don't have to drive all the way back up the connector through rush hour traffic every day, that somebody else could shoulder that burden with you. So carpool, or you need to, take MARTA, Uber it. If you want my Uber code, I'll share it with you. We could both ride for free. So yeah, I think definitely do that. Bring your snacks, bring your cash. Do not bring your tech apocalypse survival kit, Callie.
You'll be okay. I promise. Okay, so we're gonna wrap that up. We have 5 minutes to spare before FCS Vanguard starts. So go ahead and take your break, your little potty break, check in on your kids that you may have ignored during this viewing session here. But please join us at 7:30 for that. And like I said, it is Social Media Frenzy, but we are thrilled that we actually had people watch us.
Thank you.
So thank you for showing up.
Patient.
All 33 of you that are watching right now.
Well, and thank you for being patient with us trying to figure out that you can't stop a broadcast after you've started it, or you have to start a new session. So work in progress. We've got to model up. So thank you guys, everybody. Callie, get your kids in check. Thank you all for being here, and we'll see y'all next time. See.